Well, welcome everyone.
Welcome.
It was a really good climb coming up here, but it was worth it. Now this is a very special location. The whole area of Nosehill, and right where we are now, and I'll be explaining the wheel afterwards. But being at this point, and you look out. And just think, many centuries ago, before there were any buildings or any trees, all you had was the prairies. And just think of the keen eyesight that the ancestors had, where they'd be up here and would be able to detect movement out on the horizon, and always looking for the great resource that we had from the land was the bison. Bison have been here as well. A lot of other animals. Here you'll see the deer, you'll see coyotes, and some have said that they've seen an elk up here, a lot of porcupines, and all other animals that make their home. This is their territory, the animals, because this is where they live, and everything that they need for survival is right around us. And the birds as well. And to the north, we have these, again, huge stones that are on a ridge. But this point here is very significant. And why it's so important is I've conducted ceremonies here with other groups. And what I've shared with you about Na'a, where all of the teachings of Na'a is what I share. In September of 2015, a man by the name of Andy Blackwater, he's another elder from my community. But in our way of life, our own hierarchy, he would be my sacred father. And it took a number of years of meeting with other elders based on stories and what they've learned from the land, and where this wheel was introduced. And it was a gathering that took place in Billings, Montana in 2002. I was there. And I worked with Andy Blackwater and to try and come up with as much information to support this wheel that has been in existence, not just in the last little while, but for many centuries. And the purpose of that wheel. We don't call it a medicine wheel, it's a sun wheel. And in there, it's very different from others that you've seen. And this is where symbols are very important in our way of life, and how we use symbols to make our markings on Na'a. And just think, some of these symbols have been there for thousands of years. And what we learned from that, what the ancestors had left behind for all of us. They always say, Isochik, the ones in the future are the ones that will continue learning from the land and to teach about sun wheels and other markings that are made on the land. And this is why I really appreciate that you recognize the importance of respecting the land, because the land shows us so much, and what we learn from the land, these are the stories that we take back, and we share those stories with others as to what you learned from what you're going to learn from the sun wheel. Now just think, right around the world, a lot of other nations use maybe something similar, or other rock formations that they would use to identify the land that they come from, and also to share their stories, and also the ceremonies that are involved in working with these wheels. And that is the beauty of Na'a. We're able to use stones, maybe to use sticks, to tell a story about the land. And that's why with our way of life, especially with the Blackfoot people, where stories are so important. And I shared one of those stories with you this morning, and I've shared others with you at your school. Now, being up here, you could see for kilometers. I was going to say miles. You could see for many kilometers in every direction. And how the mountains, even the mountains from here, is very clear, and how beautiful and majestic the mountains are. Sometimes we will see Pita, the eagle, would find its way here and would be soaring in the sky, and this is what Pita is sharing with us. The beauty of the land, the air, the sky, and that's really important in our way of life. And all the teachings about the animals, about the birds. And it's good to know those teachings, because that's what you're going to carry forward and to teach others. What you've learned from myself, from others, and also what you learned from Na'a. So we're going to be going to the wheel. Don't step inside, but you can stand on the outside and make a circle right around that wheel, and I will tell you what it is. Now with this wheel, again, it's divided into 4. But what you see in each of them is these symbols. This is the symbol that we have for man. But what it does as well, it identifies the 4 Blackfoot nations within all of the Blackfoot-speaking people. And the nation that I come from is right there, Kena. And then you have the others. You have Siksika, you have Pikani, and Mskapi Pikani, the Blackfeet from Montana. Now, in some of the lessons that I shared with you earlier, why the number 4 is so important to our people. And you see it right here on this wheel, where you have the 4 Blackfoot nations. The stones have been moved, but what they used to show are 4 hoof prints or hoof markings in each of them. Can anybody tell me what those are? Which animal is it? It is the bison. Now remember when we started with introductions, I went to my left. And the reason that we do that is we follow what we call the positive direction, clockwise. We always go to the left. And where those prints, hoof prints, were visible, they were all moving in this direction. And again, you've got the four hoofs for the animal, 1 in each. So the number 4 is very prominent and very visible when you look at it in this wheel. But there's other teachings as well. There are 2 gateways. That one someone closed and placed stones in it. They shouldn't be there. That's one. When I spoke with Andy, he said this is a place of ceremony and anyone can go to the middle. Either way, if you come in from the east, you go back and you exit through the east. And if you're from the west, it'll be the west. But that is your moment. And this is where you make your connection with Siksikaitsitapi, the higher power, the creator. And it's a very special moment for you. Now, if you ever feel you need to come here on your own, and if you feel that you need to do your own private ceremony and to make that connection with Na'a, if you come here, make sure you go in through the gateways. Because I've seen others where they walk right across, they don't know, or nobody has explained to them what that wheel is all about. And if you come here and they ask, what are you doing here? You tell them, I sent you.